What's up, Miami Heat fans? Welcome into the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am Nick Roloff. Good to have everyone in here hanging out with us here on a Friday afternoon. We're going to be talking about the latest with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Today's stream, though, is made possible by Prize Picks, so appreciate them. We'll tell you more about them on today's show, but it's going to be a little bit of a different type of live show. I mean, we haven't gone live in a while, but we got no graphics. We got nothing planned. We're just going to come up here, hang out, chill, talk about Giannis, talk about the NBA draft, and anything you guys want to know on the Miami Heat. It's a interesting time to be a Heat fan. That's certainly for sure. It's a lot of chaos going on right now on social media. So appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us. We put out a video early on the channel today about Morez Johnson potentially being a target for the Miami Heat if they keep that pick, 13th overall. Talked about the latest on Giannis. Mark Stein saying that the Detroit Pistons are a team to monitor for Giannis Antetokounmpo, or excuse me, for Tyler Herro to help get Miami Giannis Antetokounmpo. Certainly going to be an interesting 48 hours here because I'm still going to hold the Milwaukee Bucks relatively to that Tuesday night deadline of them wanting to have clarity on the draft. Listen, owner Jimmy Haslam says that, and I'm going to believe that, man. Like, it just is something that benefits the Bucks way too much. If they don't plan on trading Giannis, like, okay, fine. But if you're going to actually trade Antetokounmpo, it has to be done by Tuesday because the best possible draft capital the Bucks are going to get is this year. Like, even if they were interested in that Giannis trade where he goes to Boston, Jaylen Brown goes to Portland, and the Blazers send stuff to Milwaukee, like, be real here. Is the package where the Bucks are getting their picks back in 28 and 2030 and a future Celtics pick, so maybe they get pick 27 from Boston, they get 28 and 30 back in their own control from the Trailblazers, and they get like Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson. Like, is that better than what Miami can get with that 3-team deal involving Detroit? I'm not sure. So I said it this morning, and I'll say it again. Like, I think the most concerning trade package to Miami's, in my opinion, is ultimately if the Atlanta Hawks jump in for Giannis or for Jaylen Brown. Because if the Hawks ultimately send the 8th overall pick to Milwaukee involving a Jaylen Brown 3-teamer, then okay, I think it might be wraps for us. Because I'll even say, like, if they can get the 8th overall pick, go ahead and take it. Because the main attraction for Miami's package is that 13th overall pick, as well as some of those younger players like Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr. So we'll certainly see how that ultimately goes here. It's going to be a fun 48 hours where once I leave the office and I head home, I'm going to be chilling at home this weekend. We'll still have content, but man, every notification I get on my phone, I'm just going to be wondering, is this the one? I thought it would be done by now, but obviously that is not the case. 150 people in the building hanging out with us. Y'all guys are awesome. Y'all a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys are excited about some content. We're going to ramp it up here. Even if the Heat make a trade for Giannis, we're still going to be live on the channel Tuesday and Wednesday for the NBA draft. So it's going to be a lot of fun here. We'll be live for the first couple of days of NBA free agency as well. So it's an important time to make sure you subscribe, hit that sub button. Also hit that like button. We got 160 people hanging out with us here. Only 12 likes though. So help me out here. Decided to go live randomly on the channel. Haven't done it in a while. When was the last time we were live? The lottery. And then it was before that was the play-in game, which obviously Miami lost there. I'll say this, folks. I mean, I know people were split on the decision of like, should the Heat lose that play-in game to get a lottery pick? Should they win that game to try to make the postseason? Think about this. How much, and it may be only missed 2 picks. Like if the Heat made playoffs, they would have still had the 15th pick. But how important is it in these Giannis Antetokounmpo trade talks that we have pick 13, right? So it's actually, in hindsight 2020, I said I wanted the Heat to miss the playoffs to get a lottery pick to try to get one of these top prospects. Obviously, we stayed at 13. But it is incredibly helpful that we ended up in the lottery because that 13th pick is the most valuable asset we have in this Giannis trade talks. And if we had pick 15, if we had pick 16 instead, like, I'm not sure our package would be as good as it is, because the Bucks are eyeing another lottery pick. So that's something that is certainly working in our favor here. So I guess it's a good thing Miami ultimately lost to the Charlotte Hornets. We could pop up some, I think, comments on live here. That's pretty cool. Hell yeah. This is the first time we're doing this, so we're kind of experimenting. So stay with me. Shout out my guy, Apachito. What's up, man? If you guys want to guarantee to get on the show, by the way, ask questions. We're just going to be chopping up, having a conversation today. Super chat. You guys can do that. And if someone sends a $20 super chat, I'll grab me a beer, and we'll have some Friday happy hour here on the Heat Report. Why not? RD, please stop spamming, though. We'll get your comment on screen, but please stop spamming. We appreciate the excitement, but we got to let other people comment. So I don't want to ban you, but like, if you keep on spamming, we're going to have to make something happen here. But shout out Apachito here. Are you covering the draft for the Heat specifically, or chat sports in general? Well, that is a good question, Apachito. When we go live on Tuesday and Wednesday, if the Heat have the 13th pick, I'll make this very clear, we will be doing a Miami Heat specific stream if we keep the 13th overall pick. If we trade it for Giannis, then it will be a general chat sports, because I am our NBA draft analyst, stream. And so if we have the 13th pick, it'll be Heat specific stream. If we trade it for Giannis, we'll just be live hanging out on our main chat sports channel and on the Heat channel. And on Wednesday's second round, we will be live on the main chat sports channel. So not going to be a Heat specific one, but we'll still be live on the channel regardless. Before we continue here and hang out here, make sure you hit that thumbs up icon. Also got to show some love to Prize Picks, the sponsor on today's show. Make sure you use code HMA. You get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. I made a lineup for the USA-Australia game. Looks like USA won. That's awesome. Keep it going, boys. My Prize Picks lineup did not win, unfortunately. I took the less on Tim Ream pass. That did go well for me. But my guy Balu and Robertson didn't end up getting their more on shots and goals and assists. So I lost this lineup, unfortunately. But it is Flex Friday, and because of that, it was a protected flex play. So I got all $20 back, even though I lost in bonus funds. So many different ways to play Prize Picks. Flex Friday, Taco Tuesday, max discounts, flex discounts, a lot of fun. So appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5. It's code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. All right, let's get back to talking about Giannis here. Updates. If you watched our show this morning, you would know the latest. If you did not, well, here is what I've got for you guys today. Mark Stein reported last night on his Substack that the Pistons are a team that is becoming really apparent to be potentially a third-team facilitator in a Giannis Antetokounmpo to Miami trade. And obviously, as that third team, that would send Tyler Herro to the Detroit Pistons. I've labeled Detroit as a really good fit for Herro because when they came up short in this postseason, their biggest issues was lack of offense and lack of secondary creators on the offensive end. And they need that for Cade Cunningham. I think Herro could be that. Obviously, an all-star in 2025. He is a 20-point per game scorer. He's a shooter that works with Cade really nicely. And what's been Herro's biggest issue? The inability to ultimately defend and score when it matters most in the postseason. Well, here's the thing. Now you've got Cade Cunningham to create all of that in Detroit. So it makes sense there. And on the defensive end, you've got Jalen Duren at the rim. You got the best wing defender in the NBA right now, All-Star Thompson. So you can hide Tyler Herro a bit there and ultimately have it work out. So I think Tyler Herro is a really good fit in Detroit. It makes a lot of sense that they would be interested as they look to add more shooting and scoring. And if you're going to rope them in with a 3-team deal here, you obviously are hoping to get that 21st pick sent to Milwaukee. And then salary would likely be Karis LeVert and Isaiah Stewart. Stewart's got 2 years left on his deal, 15 this season. LeVert's an expiring $14.5 million. So that's about $29-30 million leaving Detroit, 33 from Herro coming in. So the salaries match there really well for Detroit. And maybe LeVert goes to Miami, Stewart to Milwaukee, or maybe LeVert to Milwaukee with that expiring, Stewart to Miami. We know that the Bucks want to potentially get rid of one of Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis in a trade as well. So there's certainly a lot of different moving parts here. Well, I said on this morning show, if you didn't watch it, that I would anticipate Miami and Milwaukee, if they do agree to a Giannis trade, it's going to be a massive, massive deal. Like, it is not just going to be a 3-team deal like some people believe it is going to be. It is going to be a 4-team deal, a 5-team deal, because Milwaukee doesn't really want Nikola Jovic, and Jovic might have to go to a separate team, whether it be a Grizzlies, a Nets. I threw out the idea of a Dallas Mavericks, and maybe Klay Thompson goes somewhere because Jovic makes $16 million, Klay Thompson makes $17 million, so those two salaries match. Would the Mavericks swap Klay's expiring $17 million for a young 22, 23-year-old forward and Jovic? Maybe. I don't know. So we'll see how things ultimately unfold. But man, it's going to be an interesting couple of days here. We did get a $5 super chat. Appreciate my guy KBM. What's up, dude? Good to see you again. Do you think it's better to get John, Kawhi, and keep our best young players instead of getting Giannis and sending all our young picks? Interesting question. 1 second here. Listen, in a vacuum, is it better? Probably. Like, yeah, Kawhi Leonard this year played like a top 10 player in the NBA. We went over a couple of different Kawhi Leonard trade ideas. I mean, Kawhi was the third most impactful offensive player this year when you look at Darko offensive plus minus. And his defensive ability isn't where it was, obviously, with Toronto or back in his young days in San Antonio, but he's still a very capable defender. So you can argue that Kawhi Leonard is just as impactful in a year-one basis than a Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, they're right there because Kawhi is that guy offensively. He's more well-rounded, obviously. Giannis is more dominant, but Kawhi has that 3 ball, shot 39-40% this year. So you can argue it. But the thing is, though, when you bring up that hypothetical, there is no guarantee that Kawhi is even going to be traded. So you can bring up that as a better option, sure, but do we know he's even on the block? I don't know if you do. Like, I had a report today that I did for our main NBA Now show here at Chat Sports. But Anthony Slater, who's incredibly tapped in with the Golden State Warriors, he named Kawhi Leonard as the Warriors' plan A this offseason. Like, they're not getting Giannis. They're trying to trade for Kawhi. And he noted and reported that the Clippers owner, Steve Ballmer, he is against trading Kawhi Leonard because he is a aggressive owner. I mean, ever since he took over, you get Kawhi, you get Paul George. They brought in Bradley Beal to try to make that a big 3. They are really, really aggressive in their attempt to build a championship team. And I don't think Steve Ballmer is someone who will be willing to go through tanking. And I don't know if they want to trade Kawhi. So I don't really see that happening. I think Kawhi stays in Los Angeles, which means Giannis is really the only opportunity you have this offseason to get a superstar. And I'll also finish this before we move on here with other comments and questions. So continue to keep on getting the comment section. We appreciate the activity today. This is Pat Riley's guy. We missed out on Dame in 2023. We missed out on Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant in 2022. We missed out on KD again last year. The Heat were interested, but they didn't offer Kel'el Ware. They didn't offer Nikola Jovic. Why didn't they offer them? It's because they knew that a guy like Anthony Edwards, a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo may become available on the trade market in the next year or two. And they didn't want to trade their best young assets for the 36-year-old at the time, Kevin Durant. And he ultimately goes to Houston when you could have beat that package last year. KD could have been a Heat easily. If the Heat offered their first 20th overall Ware for Kevin Durant, KD would have been in Miami. So Miami had the opportunity to go get him. They didn't because they wanted to hold on to those assets to try to get a Giannis or Anthony Edwards. And then here we are a year later with Giannis available. They didn't get it done at the deadline, although they apparently felt like they were close. And now we are here now. Pat Riley needs to get this done. Their entire philosophy has been like every time they've missed out on a star, oh, we're saving space. We're saving some assets for the big kahuna, the big whale, the fish that we really want that's going to be coming soon. Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards. Well, here we go. Like, I know some fans will say that, hey, I don't even want Giannis because he's 32 when the season begins in October, still 31 now. He had some injury scares last year. Like, that's cool. Like, I can understand that. Like, that's your opinion. But I think we all can agree that this is vital for this Heat front office to get this trade done. Because if they do not get this trade done, then everything that they have said after missing out on KD, Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, the list goes on, would have been for a lie. And then if you say, well, they wanted too much, we didn't have enough to trade for Giannis. Well, then that's your own damn fault for not getting more draft assets, more capital. You could have traded Andrew Wiggins. You could have traded Norman Powell. Could have traded Tyler Herro sooner. Last offseason, maybe, coming off of an all-star year. I'd have no sympathy for this front office if they don't get it done. Like, fans are going to be pissed, man, if you don't get this trade over and done with. You got to. You put all your chips into this basket over the last 4 or 5 years, and if you come up short, that's just an indictment on your front office. And I really hope we don't have to have that stream. Like, if they get traded, if Giannis gets traded to Boston or Orlando or anywhere else, like, we'll be on stream reacting to it, being pissed. But man, oh man, like they got to get this done, man. So I don't really think Kawhi is best option for Miami. If they miss out on Giannis, like, yeah, I'm pivoting to Kawhi, but I don't even know if he'll be traded. We got 2 different $5 super chats from my guy, Alex. Appreciate you, Alex. First one didn't have any text, so we're just going to pop up this one, but appreciate you for sending in $10 here. Saying trade Herro to Detroit for 21st pick, Bam to the Clippers for 5, keep pick 13, rebuild around where? 1 second on that. I got to collect my thoughts on that one. Certainly a lot of draft capital there. What's up, Coop?
How we doing?
Good. Are you feeling good about the USA?
That was a good win.
2-0?
Yep.
2-0?
2-0.
Very nice. Very good. We got producer Coop coming to the studio here. I actually like this. This is really cool.
How are the Heatles feeling?
The Heatles are all over the place. Honestly, the confidence in us landing Giannis isn't great. I mean, I've got this super chat on screen here that wants Miami to trade Herro to Detroit for pick 21 and Bam to the Clippers for 5 and just take 3 guys in this year's draft and go youth movement.
Do you have to pop that on screen?
Yeah, it just pops up on the software and then you just say show comment. And then it's really nice, actually. Anyway, to answer Alex's question, as producer Coop leaves the building, this is fascinating. Obviously, I'd like to trade Herro to Detroit for pick 21 regardless. I've said this before. If Miami gets word that Giannis isn't going to be traded, or Giannis gets traded to the Celtics or Magic, name your other team, on Sunday afternoon. If I'm Miami, I'm spending all day Monday trying to iron out a trade that sends Herro to the Pistons. I would be A-okay trading Herro to the Pistons for pick 21, pick 21, Isaiah Stewart, Karis LeVert. Are you going to get over the hump by doing that? No. What it allows you to do is get a couple young guys into this youth movement and get some salary that you can flip later on. LeVert expiring $14 million, so that gives you more cap space next year. Isaiah Stewart's got 2 years, $15 million each year. You can flip Stewart at the deadline for more capital if you want to, or you can keep Stewart because you do need a third big man behind Bam and Ware. They're not trading Bam to the Clippers, so we can get rid of that idea. But if we just stay on the Detroit idea, Stewart to back up Bam and Ware, that's a really freaking good trio in your front court, man. That'd be really freaking good. So you can draft a guy like Yaxel Lendeborg or Morez Johnson at pick 13, and then you can go guard at 21, whether it be a Labaron Philon who slips, an Ibuka Corey, a Christian Anderson. Those are really interesting options around that spot. You can also do the opposite. And instead of going one of the Michigan wings or bigs at 13, you can take a guard there. Like, I am way okay taking Philon. I still have Labaron Philon as my number one guy I want the Heat to take if they keep pick 13. I think he's a stud. He's sixth on my big board personally, only trailing Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, AJ DeBansa, Caleb Wilson, Darius Acuff. I'm a big fan of Philon. I get the weight concerns, but this guy's offensive ability to play on the ball and off the ball is second to none in this class. So I love Philon. Take him at 13 and then go with a high upside big at 21, whether it be a Chris Sinak, Anna Steinbach, if he makes it there, or Jaden Quaintance. Really intriguing options there. I'll say this to wrap up this, and then we'll move on and look at some other comments here. But Heat aren't trading Bam. If the Heat miss out on Giannis, first call should be to Detroit to get an Isaiah Stewart, Karis LeVert, pick 21 trade done on Monday, so you can go into Tuesday night's first round with pick 13 and 21. That's really like the best thing that the Heat can do if they miss out on Giannis. But I hope that isn't the case. If you want to get you guys on screen, remember Super Chat. We're just kind of here hanging out with all y'all. Let's look at the live comments to see if anyone had anything that is going to be fun to talk about here. We get Major on screen. Major's been a real one for a while. He's always in the comment section, although he thinks I'm a nut job sometimes. How about Anthony Davis? Bam and KD, we keep pick 13. Where Bam, KD, Norm, Davion. So there's a lot going on here. So you're saying, so these are two separate things. Okay. You're not saying KD and Anthony Davis, which wouldn't be possible, by the way, salary-wise, because it would be Bam making 50 mil, Davis making 50 mil, and KD 50 mil. That's not going to happen. You can't have three guys making $50 million per year in the new CBA. That just ain't going to happen. Anthony Davis, no. I would not be in on that. Like, Bam and AD played really well together at the Olympics, for sure. But he just is so injury prone, I will say. Like, he's injury prone. Even if he's healed, like, another injury is probably going to happen. His floor spacing, his three-point shooting has fallen off of a cliff over the last, 3 years. So I don't even know if the spacing works that well, although Bam is getting better in that department, so maybe it would. Just no on Anthony Davis. It's a no from me, dog. With KD, though, like that, I still would be in. Like, KD was really freaking good this year, man. I mean, he was. Obviously, major bummer that KD ended up getting hurt and missing that playoff series against the Lakers, and the Lakers won that series rather easily with KD in and out of the lineup there. But, dude, he averaged 25, shot 40% from three, 50% from the field, basically. Even at age 36, 37, KD is a top 10 offensive player in the league. And if all it costs you is Herro and Wiggins, I'm in. Like, assuming no draft capital. Like, I don't know if they'd want draft capital. I talked to the Rockets fan that I have here, Chat Sports, Jeremy Chuggs, that does a Rockets channel too. He said, I asked him, would you take Herro and Wiggins? Just because, Wiggins might be a little better fit there defensively for that Rockets team, and then you get offense and Herro in the backcourt next to Amen Thompson. He said he would do it. So maybe that would be something, could be explored. But if you could keep pick 13, trade Wiggins and Herro for KD, that would be awesome, man. Like, imagine using that pick on Cam Carr, who would probably be my pick in that scenario. Starting lineup would be, hypothetically, Kasparas Yakachonis at the 1, Cameron Carr at the 2. And then your front court is Bam, Ware, and KD. KD can really only guard 4s, but Bam can switch 3 through 5, so no issue there. Bam kind of guards your 3s. KD's at the 4, Ware at the 5. And you got Larson off the bench. You still have Hawkes off the bench. Still have Davion off the bench. Certainly not the worst idea in the world, I'd say. But I don't think it's something that's going to happen. Tyson, what do you think about Henry Vasar at 21? If that trade were to happen, I'm not the biggest Vasar guy. I'm not. I can give you guys an inside look at my big board here. I think Vasar is a fine prospect, but I have him as my 8th ranked big man in this draft class. I have him ranked as my 32nd overall prospect. Big men I prefer over Henry Vasar. I like Ademara more, Morez Johnson more, Hannah Steinbach more, Jane Quaintance more, Trayvon Brazil more, which is maybe a bit of a hot take, but I'm a big Trayvon Brazil guy. He might be my number 1 target for the Heat at 41 in the second round. I think he's worth a first-round pick, personally. But if he makes it to the second round, Brazil's my top guy. Just a freak athlete. Kind of almost like very similar to Kelal Ware. He's 6'10", with a 7'3" wingspan, shot 36% from 3 last year, 34% from 3 this year. A ridiculous wingspan, which leads to some ridiculous blocks. I also got Zuby Ejiofor and Terrace Reed over Henry Vasar. I'm just not like really sold on Vasar. Yeah, he's got some floor spacing upside. Shot 42% from 3 this year on 5.6 attempts per 100 from beyond the arc. But I don't really like his defense. I mean, yeah, he's a good shooter. I don't think he can move well laterally as well as some other guys in this draft class. And I just get a lot of like good offensive big, bad defensive big. And I don't know if I'm sold on that. Like, I want kind of a more, if I'm taking a third big behind Ware and Bam, hypothetically, I'm going to take a guy that can defend. And Henry Vasar isn't it to me. I just like Trayvon Brazil a little bit more, like Terrace Reed a little bit more, like Zuby Ejiofor a little bit more. But I think you could consider Zuby even a little bit of a wing. Like, he might have to lose some weight and play down a little bit. I really like Trayvon Brazil, man. I'm trying to pull up some of my notes and stats from him because some of it is just ridiculous. Yeah, like how about this? Shot 81% at the rim this year. Shot 88% at the rim in 2025, 76% in 2024. I mean, 6'9.5", 7'3", 3/4 wingspan, 41-inch vertical. Trayvon Brazil is a freak, dude. Just a dynamic play finisher. Him and Caleb Wilson are probably the 2 most athletic finishers in this draft, where like they can just put you on a poster. They can finish over you, around you. It doesn't matter. And I mentioned the 3-point shooting on Brazil, 34% on 6.4 attempts per 100 this year, 36% the year before on 5 attempts per 100, 5% block rate over the last 2 years, 2.6 steal percentage over the past couple of years. Like, bit older. There's questions about his motor, tore his ACL in 2022. So that's a long-term concern, but Brazil's a freak, man. I love Trayvon Brazil. I mean, we'll see, because it's going to be very dependent on who the Heat ultimately, what they do in the trade market. Like, do they get Giannis or they not get Giannis? But if you guys love Kelal Ware and what he can bring to the table with his rim protection, his athleticism, his 3-point shooting, then can I interest you in Trayvon Brazil? If you trade Ware, Trayvon Brazil would be the perfect pick at 41 if he were to make it, because he literally is just maybe a slightly worse version of Kelal Ware. And that would be perfect, right? Right? As your backup big to Giannis and Bam, is this like he's actually the same age as Ware. He's like 23 because he's been in college for 5 years because he had that redshirt year with the torn ACL. But how about Trayvon Brazil, man? It'd be a lot of fun as your backup big. It'd be a lot of fun as your backup big. You develop him here and you have him for a decent amount of time. Another super chat from KBM. Shout out to you. Appreciate the love, guys. 240 people still watching on a Friday afternoon. Nice hanging out. Fun. 30 minutes in. What about Felix Okpara at 41? So that's the big man for Tennessee. I'm not sold on Okpara. I did some actually deep diving into him last night. Funny enough, you ask. I have him 13th on my list. He is a UDFA type player for me, so I wouldn't take him at 41. I have him behind Vasar, obviously. I have him behind Malik Brown from Duke, who's just a dynamic defensive big, a little undersized, but can really switch 3 through 5. Rafael Castro from George Washington, explosive athlete. Ugano Nyensu, who is more of that legit rim protecting big man, 2.9 blocks per game this year, a ridiculous block rate. Let me pull up the exact block rate number. 17.4% this year. That, you know how ridiculous that is? A 17.4% block rate for Uganda and Yonso. That's ridiculous, dude. And then I had Isaiah Nelson, the undersized but really athletic South Florida big man. Reminds me a lot of Kenneth Reed, Isaiah Nelson, personally. But as I look more at Felix Akpar, like, there's some things that are good, some things that I don't love, like a recent UBFA / second round pick. I get reminded a lot of him is actually the Knicks' Ariel Hokporty, who never really put together. Like Akpara on the all defensive team this year at SEC or in the SEC, 7% block rate, good, not great, 8% last year. Really good lateral movements. He's an athlete there. Like, he's not the most vertically gifted player. 35-inch max vert, solid. Really solid, though. 11.01 lane agility. 96th percentile for Park. So this guy can move laterally really well, which I think is impressive. But he doesn't really bring anything offensively. Shot 71% at the rim. Solid. How about this, though? Only average 1.75 point per possession on dunks. It's 48th percentile. So didn't really always finish when he went up strong at the rim for a dunk. There's really nothing there in terms of his footwork or jump shot. Just a really low ceiling big man. And if I'm taking a big man at 41, which is very possible that Miami could do because they'll be looking to replace Khalil Ware potentially, or just looking to get a backup big. I just don't think Akpar is the guy that I would target. I would go with someone who has a bit of more of a higher upside, more of an athlete, which is why I like Trayvon Brazile so much. But I can get behind like an Isaiah Nelson or maybe even a Rafael Castro. Certainly not my favorites. I think at 41, Trayvon Brazile is probably not a number one guy. But if I'm not going Trayvon Brazile, I'm probably going with like a guard potentially. I really like Jaden Bradley from Arizona. I really like Tyler Nickel from Vanderbilt. He is a Duncan Robinson clone. A Duncan Robinson clone, man. When I look at Tyler Nickel, like, so many reminders and like flashes in the head of Duncan Robinson. Nickel 6'6" without shoes, so he's got size. 6'8.5" wingspan, so nothing crazy there. Shot 40% from 3 this year on 13.4 attempts per 100. Just a ridiculous number. 14.6 attempts per 100 last year and shot 40.5%, and shot 40%, 39.9 in 2024. So he's a 40% on the dot 3-point shooter over the last 3 years. Yeah, struggled a bit sometimes in games against high-powered Power 4 opponents. That's for sure. But this guy is really good from deep. He's a legit gravitational shooter where teams know they can't leave him open. Was much better at getting to the rim. Very limited opportunities, but 75% at the rim. Moves the ball well. Not the best athlete. Defense isn't great. Am I describing Duncan Robinson? Yes, I am. So, like, a lot of people want Duncan Robinson to return and want another version of him to run dribble handoffs with Bam, with Giannis, potentially if we get him, and be a shooting spacer. Tyler Nickel's my guy. So those are some options I like at 41 over a guy like Felix Akpara. So that's the highlight. $5 super chat. What are your odds for Giannis? I'm at 48%. 48%. I think it's close. I think it's tough, but that's where I'm at right now. I mean, I'm not going to act like I have sources. I'm just kind of been super tapped into everything out there from insiders, from media members, and just feel like 48% solid. If I had to rank it, I got 48%. He goes to Miami. 43% in Boston. 9% stays with Milwaukee. I think we'll have a resolution soon, though. I really do. It just makes no sense for the Bucks to take this past the draft. I know what Chris Haynes said. I know Sam Amick said he's heard maybe it could go into free agency. If it goes into free agency, the Bucks have to be the worst organization in sports. And they might already be one of the worst because their drafting history over the last 8 years has been abysmal. It has. And their number one thing was to get draft capital this year. It's their number one thing in a Giannis return. So if you take this past Tuesday night into free agency, how in the world are you going to get draft capital back? And you could say, well, we'll just take the players that the teams Miami picked at 13. Well, how do you know Miami picked the player that you'd want? What if we took Morez Johnson at 13, who we apparently really like? Talked about that earlier today. Well, I love Morez as a prospect. He's 10th on my overall big board, and I love him in Miami because of what he can bring at the rim as a finisher. I mean, we wanted to get bigger, more athletic. Morez Johnson is that. Wouldn't complain about that one bit. But is he the best fit in Milwaukee? No, probably not, because he doesn't have the highest upside. He's kind of built to impact winning now on the defensive side of the floor and just kind of rely on his athleticism to finish around the rim. That's not what Milwaukee needs. The Bucks need high upside wings and guards. So I just don't think the Bucks will take this past the NBA draft next week. If they do, they're incredibly dumb and they risk losing Giannis for nothing. Now, obviously, if they did take it past the draft, that heavily favors the Boston Celtics because the Celtics trade package, hypothetically, is more for future draft capital because they would be sending Jaylen Brown to a third team, and maybe that's the Portland Trailblazers, right? And we've thrown out this hypothetical of Portland sends the 28 and 30 swaps back to Milwaukee. Boston sends a future first-round pick. The Bucks get their own picks back, a future Celtics pick, and Shane Sharp, Scoot Henderson, Jeremy Grant. And that's what it is. And is that better than what Miami's got on the table now of like where Jaquez, other salary and 13 plus 2 future first? I don't know. But if it goes past the draft, well, then the Heat's package gets worse. And if it's not done before the draft with Miami's offer, it ain't ever going to get done. So like I said, like if Miami... If I set a deadline Sunday night, maybe you can take it into Monday. But if you're getting indications from Milwaukee that they're not going to trade Giannis before the draft and they are taking this into free agency, I'm going somewhere else. I'm picking 13th overall, and then I'll try to trade for Kawhi. If that doesn't work, then let's go into a youth movement. I think this gets done by Sunday night. Personally, I think this gets done by Sunday night, but I can't guarantee anything. That's for sure. I don't know any inside information, but I'm just trying to hear what I see from other people and kind of go from there. More coming up here, but today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. One reason why I love Prize Picks is the versatility, the way you can play daily fantasy sports, and the specials today, Flex Friday. And what they offered you was a protected lineup. If you lost your lineup, you're getting that money you lost back in bonus funds. So I did a $20 flex play on the USA-Australia World Cup game. I lost because my guy Floro, well, he only took 2 shots. And then my guy, Anthony Robinson, he didn't get a goal or assist. So I lost my lineup, flex play, but because it was Flex Friday and a protected play, I got a $20 back in bonus lineups. They got max discounts. They got flash discounts you got to keep an eye on. They're really the best. Get started today. You can see every lineup I make, by the way, on the Prize Picks app. Go follow me right now, RollyCS. Use code HMA when signing up. That'll get you $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups instantly when you play your first $5. We appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's stream. All right. Let's get back to looking at the live comments here. Anyone have any thoughts here? Pooh says, I'm a Vandy fan. Nickel, definitely that guy. Love his shooting, man. Obviously, really has to rely on that because he's not a good defender and he's not going to bring anything really else to the table. But that, if you can shoot, you'll find time to play in the NBA. As we look for some more comments, maybe pop on screen, talk about. Make sure you have hit that like button too. Help me out. We only got 54 likes, 250 people watching. How about this, though? Impromptu stream. We have, well, is it going to tell me here? Hold on. I'm trying to see how many people have tuned into the stream. As I look on my other tab, I don't know if it's going to work, though. We have still 250 people watching now. Just fun. That's fun. Oh, now I can't even see the comments over here. Train wreck. 1,600 people have tuned in, though. That's awesome. Why is that? Why is that the case? Let me see here. Why can't I see the comment section now? Well, that's why. That's why. That would check out. So let me do this, and then we'll do this, and now we'll refresh here, and then I should be able to see the comment section. And there we go. Bingo. Got it. KBM, show them again. You stream the draft. Yeah, we'll be live on Tuesday and Wednesday. If the Heat have the 13th pick and they don't trade it, we'll be live solo on the Heat channel. If they do trade the pick, we will be live on the Heat channel still, but we'll be on our main Chat Sports channel too, just doing a more general broadcast. This is a good one. General, what's up, General? What is everyone seeing with Davion? I feel like he's being moved. I think ideally the Heat want to keep Davion. I mean, this is a player that Eric Spoelstra really likes. We know Pat Riley really likes Davion Mitchell. Played really well last season. Shot really good from three. Had some big moments at times. Was unbelievably good in that play-in game against the Hornets. Davion Mitchell is a player I really believe in as a postseason guy. Like during the regular season, 82 games, there will be some nights where it just doesn't show. But he brings energy constantly. I know it's just been the play-in, but was unbelievably good in the play-in last year against the Bulls and Hawks, was great against the Hornets. He's a guy that rises to the occasion. He rises to the occasion because he defends hard. He can knock down some shots. He even showed that he can really get to the rim at times off the dribble as a slasher, which was impressive to me since he's a bit undersized. I think Miami wants to keep him, but he should not hold up a Giannis trade. Like if the Bucks were to say, all right, we don't want Jovic. We want Hawkes Ware, Yakachonis, and Davion instead of Jovic. So you literally just swap out Jovic for Davion. It's not stopping me from getting a trade done, personally. I understand people say, well, you don't have any point guards after that. What are you going to do there? Well, you have the ability to draft one in the second round. You would have some avenues in free agency to get a trade done and a signing. So I certainly wouldn't let Davion Mitchell be the holdup, but I do think he would be someone Miami wants to keep. And I'll add this. If Miami misses out on Giannis, I have an incredibly hard time seeing Davion Mitchell being traded. I don't think Davion's traded this offseason unless it has to be in the Giannis trade. It's kind of how I feel there. Appreciate you, General. Appreciate you. We get any other good comments in? Oh, this is a good one because I see a lot of people talking about keeping Kawhi Ware. Bucks said they want Jaime on 13th so we can keep Ware. No. Just because you've seen reports that the Bucks prioritize Hawkes in the 13th pick, and those are their two favorite assets that the Heat have, they are going to take Kawhi Ware. They'd be ludicrous not to, because even if they weren't the biggest fans of Kawhi Ware, you can't deny the upside he has, and you know there's intrigue around the league. There are many teams out there that would love to have Kawhi Ware on their team. I mean, still in his early 20s, 7 feet tall, 7'4" wingspan, shot 38% plus from 3 this year. There's a lot of untapped upside there. And I get why some Heat fans want to keep Kawhi Ware, but guys, if you trade him, you're getting Giannis, who's a top 5 player in the league. He's going to be in the deal because a team like Los Angeles, and maybe that's where it becomes a 5-team deal. Maybe that's where it is because maybe you get all the draft capital in the world heading to the Bucks, where it's a 5-team deal because you have Herro going to Detroit. Detroit sends salary, Stewart, Levert, and the pick 21st overall. 21 goes to Milwaukee. Salary can be split up. But what if Khalil Ware gets rerouted? What if Khalil goes to Los Angeles and is with the Lakers? The Lakers have pick 25. What if the Lakers send 25 to the Bucks? So now the Bucks are getting 3 first-round picks in this year's draft, as well as 2 future first-round picks. So the Bucks would then have hypothetically 10, 13, 21, 25. So they have 4 first-rounders this year, and they get the 2 future first-round picks from Miami. So, like, you could reroute Ware if the Bucks really didn't want him, but you're going to have to include him in the deal because he's one of your best assets there is. So, Jaime, 13, and Ware, and Herro. Those are the 4 things that I can guarantee you, without a question, are in a trade for Giannis. If we get a notification that Giannis is traded to the Miami Heat, Ware is gone, Hawkes is gone, Herro is gone, and the 13th overall pick is gone. And 2 future first-round picks are gone. Now, the question is Jovic gone? And if gone, where is he going? Is Larson gone? Is Yakchonis gone? Those are the gray areas. The only guarantees I can give you: Ware, Hawkes, 13, Herro, 2 future firsts. That's guaranteed. So there's no chance to me that Khalil Ware stays. Tobias comes in. Hey, just came in. What's the status for Giannis right now? Well, we'll do that because I know people are in and out on today's show. Nothing much has changed. Last night, Mark Stein reported that the Pistons are viewed as a 3rd-team facilitator in a trade that potentially could send Giannis to Miami. I think this report tells you that things could be close. I really do mean that. Like, Mark Stein is incredibly tapped in. Like, if you had to rank reporters and insiders of like who has legit sources and knows what's happening around the league at a high level, I think Stein's in my top 3. With Woj gone, my top 3: Shams, Haynes, Stein. And then you have that second level of insiders, which is Windy, Amick, Fisher. Those are like my top 6. But Stein's in the big 3 for me. And for him to say that he's heard that the Pistons could be a 3rd-team facilitator tells me that there has been legit discussions there, and this thing has progressed to a point to where people think it's going to happen, at least with that. And I've said, hey, if the Heat miss out on Giannis, trade Herro to Detroit for pick 21 and salary no matter what. So maybe that's something that could happen, but there has been nothing more in my mind that's confirmed is that Miami and Detroit have talked about a Herro trade, likely involving either a future first-round pick or the 21st pick in this draft. So that's the latest there. I mean, there really wasn't any other updates other than that today. I mean, Windy just said that he thinks Jaylen Brown stays in Boston. Amick said that Boston wants Jaylen Brown for Giannis straight up, and the Bucks want Jaylen Brown in draft capital. So that's like nothing that we haven't known. The one thing that was news to me was the Mark Stein report about confirming that the Pistons have been talking with Miami as a potential third team facilitator. That's the thing that stands out to me the most, and that's the most important information right now. That's the most important information. Hey, we got a Bucks fan here. Shout out to Colton. I badly want Philon and Steinbach as a Bucks fan. I think that would be a good haul. I mean, we know that Jake Fisher, he reported this week that the Bucks are operating as a team that has 2 picks in this first round, and that's what agents around the league believe. And he even went on the far to say, like, they've been operating like they've had exactly the 13th pick. So they're looking at players that are probably going in the lottery. I think Labaron Philon would be a fun addition for them. Obviously, they have Ryan Rollins that Bucks fans are very optimistic about. I think almost too optimistic. Like, they think this guy's like the next coming of an all-NBA guy. I don't see it, but maybe I'm wrong there. I think the Bucks should target one of the guards at 10, whether it's a Brayden Burries, a Kingston Flemings, a Michael Brown, a Labaron Philon. And then if they were to get the 13th pick from Miami, I'm looking at someone in the front court. Not to replace Giannis, but to kind of just like be their own guy. Whether it's a Anna Steinbach, whether it's a Yaxel Lendeborg. If they want to swing for the fences, maybe it's a Jane Quaintance, although I don't see that happening whatsoever. I think Steinbach is a good option, though. If I'm a Bucks fan, you come away with Philon Steinbach at 10 and 13 after trading Giannis, and you get some young guys like Ware, Jaquez, maybe even a Yakachonis. Like that's a pretty good hole there to restart your rebuild. I mean, I'm looking at my big board here. Like I said, I'm high on Philon. I love him a lot, and it's just offensive playmaking in the way he can play on the ball and off the ball. I have him 6th on my big board, and I have Steinbach at 17. So good options there. Really good options there. Man, we've already been live for 53 minutes. This has been a lot of fun. We're only going to stay live here until like the top of the hour. So we're only going to be live for the next like 4 or 5 minutes, I guess. And then we'll get out of here and let you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday night and weekend. And we'll just be on Giannis Watch from here on out. If you guys want to get on the show and get your comment on screen and us talk about it here to round out the episode, Super Chat guarantees that. If not, we'll just pop up maybe a couple more random comments. We appreciate the 250 people still hanging out with us and the 2,000 people that have tuned in so far. You guys have been a lot of fun today. I see someone else briefly mention the Steinbach over Mara. No, I have a Mara higher. I have Steinbach at 17th overall on my big board. I have Mara at 9. I'm a big fan of Mara. His size, his lateral movements, impressive to me. Really good passer, too. I mean, I'm just a sucker for a big man that can pass, and he's just got it, man. He's just got it. An incredibly good passer. An incredibly good passer. I've seen Tyson pop this one up here. So if no super chats come in, I get this Tyson comment up here because he's been asking this for a while. Rolly, if the Bucks choose Boston, should Heat help facilitate a trade where we get Jaylen Brown? No. No. And the reason why I say no, because it's going to cost you almost the same thing. If you wanted to facilitate a Jaylen Brown trade, you're still having to trade the 13th overall pick to Milwaukee. And you're going to probably have to also send in future first-round picks. I know Jaylen Brown just had a second-team All-NBA year and led the Celtics to the 2nd overall seed, but do we think Jaylen Brown and Bam Adebayo is going to be able to win a title? No, I don't. I don't view Jaylen Brown as a true one option on a title team. And that's what Miami needs. Like, Miami either needs to go youth movement or find a way to get a number one guy, which is why we're all in on Giannis. Like, that's the number one guy. He's a top 5 player in the NBA. He is someone who won multiple MVPs and a finals MVP. Had one of the best closed out performances in the NBA Finals history, one of the best final series in history when they took down the Suns, beat them in 6. Jaylen Brown ain't that. So I'm not sending pick 13 Herro and young guys to get Jaylen Brown. I'm not doing it. So I'm out on that. All right, we're going to stay live for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I'm going to give the people a minute and a half. If you want to get a question or a comment on the show to round it out and be our kind of, what is it? Your note cap, your footnote, if you will. I'll give it a minute. If not, I'm going to pick one more comment to react to and talk about, and then I'll get out of here. I just saw someone, Jaylen Brown's second coming of Wade. Brother, Jaylen Brown is 30 in the fall. Dwayne Wade won a title in the 3rd year he was in the league. Don't disrespect. I don't know if you're a Celtics fan. I don't know if you're a Heat fan. That is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen at Dwayne Wade. Jaylen Brown, the second coming of Dwayne Wade. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's insulting. Prime D Wade, top 20 player all time. Jaylen Brown's at his peak, barely a top 20 player in the league. He is a top 20, but he's probably in that like 12 to 20 range. All right, get those questions down in the comments. We're going to pick one more in one more second. We'll pick one more here in a second and then move on. I'm going to give it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's scroll now to see what's the best one to round out the show. I think it's a good one to round out the show. From Devon Carter. Or Devin. Whatever. Seen a lot of people say Celtics people skeptical of the legitimacy of Giannis to Boston. How scary is that reality in your opinion? I think it's a legit threat. I mean, it would be naive to think they have no chance to get Giannis. I mean, hypothetically, do they have more to offer than Miami? Yeah. I mean, I'm not the biggest Jaylen Brown guy, but he is someone coming off a second All-NBA season. And nobody on Miami that you're offering has top 10 player in the NBA ability. And I'm not saying Jaylen Brown is that, but Brown made second team All-NBA, so like he was a top 10 player voted this year. Where doesn't have that ceiling? Jonas doesn't, I don't think, although I really do think he's really good. I think he is all-star level, but not top 10 level. Hawkes doesn't so it's a legit threat. The thing is, it's just as hard to get a 3-team deal done because not only does Milwaukee have to agree to everything coming back, but that third team has to take in Jaylen Brown and be okay sending everything out. So are they a threat? Yes. It just is incredibly difficult to get a 3-team deal done. Miami's going to have to do a multi-team deal, but it's on a lesser scale because there isn't 2 all-NBA level guys being traded, right? It's only Giannis. Like, you're trading Giannis and Jaylen Brown. So the Bucks have to feel like they're getting enough value on Giannis, and the Celtics have to feel like they're getting enough value on Jaylen Brown. And that could be difficult. So, yes, are they a threat? yeah. Like I said, we're on out here. We'll end our show here. Going into the weekend, if you had to have me pie chart where Giannis goes, 48% chance Miami, 43% Boston, 9% the Bucks are the dumbest organization alive and keep them through the draft. And he just stays with Milwaukee and he leaves in free agency next year. That's how we're ending today's show. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. You guys were a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do more of these in the future. If you guys did like that, show me. Hit that thumbs up icon even after the stream ends. It's really helpful. You guys were fun. Hopefully the next time I see you guys live on the channel, we're celebrating a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade to the Miami Heat. That would be the next time we're live, or we're going to be in piss because he got traded elsewhere. So hopefully it's the first one. Peace out, folks. Have a nice Friday and the rest of your weekend.